In this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 of my most brutal lessons from running group programs for the last 7 years. These are the mistakes, the lessons that have cost me money, stress, time, and have been quite painful to learn. So hopefully, in sharing them with you, you will avoid some of the mistakes that I have. Brutal lesson number 1 is around results-based guarantees. I did this early on in one of my lead generation programs, and the program was all about doubling your leads in the 30 days. And I'd crafted a very well-intentioned guarantee that basically said, if you don't double your leads and I don't deliver everything I say here and more, I'll just give you your money back. And at the end of the 30 days, I had people saying to me, I love the program, it was absolutely brilliant. And some doubled their leads like the following month or the month after. But because they didn't technically hit that marker that I had promised within the 30 days, I had 3 people out of like my 20 ask for their money back. And it was such a painful lesson because I delivered so hard in that program and I had to honor the refund policy that I had said. And the kind of painful truth I realized is results-based guarantees are way too risky because there's just way too much out of your control. And if you tie your revenue to outcomes that you can't fully manage, you're just going to end up so stressed. Okay, brutal lesson number 2. You will have a mid-program slump. If you run a program that's 12 weeks long or longer, that will make you question everything. And the simple reality is that in a 12-week program, people start buzzing, and that kind of stays for weeks 1 to 4. And then around weeks 5 to 7, motivation starts to wobble and the energy of the group drops and people start falling behind. And as a coach, you can then start spiraling and you think, is it me? Is it not working? Is the content not engaging enough? But the brutal bit is it's not you. You just can't maintain momentum and energy for a 12-week period. So one thing that really helps is naming the slump so people feel and know that it's normal. So don't take it personally, name it, normalize it, and give your clients like a reset point at that midway dip to create the momentum for the second half. Brutal lesson number 3. Evergreen models are different and can mess with your head. So with an Evergreen group program, we're enrolling clients monthly or any time rather than a cohort starting at the same time. And that sounds pretty dreamy. You've got kind of consistent sales, consistent clients without launches, and it is long term. But the reality is that your energy and your motivation and sometimes your client numbers are going to fluctuate month to month. And that's going to be dependent on a bunch of other things like where you're at in your cycle, what you've got going on in your personal life, how you're feeling about your business. And what I've really learned is not to make big business decisions when your energy and your motivation fluctuate. That the dip isn't a sign that you need to burn everything down. You have to ride it. And every single time I've sat in the dip, I've come out the other side loving my business again. Brutal lesson number 4. Small call numbers will trigger your ego. So if you have a group program, say, so even mine that typically has 30 to 40 people in, because we have 2 calls a week, sometimes, or like the sun's shining, something can happen and you'll just have a smaller call. Now, if you have a smaller cohort of say 5 people or 10 people, this can happen way more often. And if you go to a call and you have 1 or 2 people show up, or even 4 people show up when it's a much bigger program, your ego will kick in with whatever narrative it uses to bring you down. Like they're going to think you're not good enough, their program isn't engaged, they don't have many clients, and all of those thought patterns that you create when your ego starts leading the show. The truth is that although it can be painful and although people may have those thoughts, 1, that's not in your control. And 2, smaller groups often get way better coaching. They get your brain one-on-one, and your clients also aren't tracking your numbers and they don't have the same level of like tune-in awareness that you do. And it's totally normal in a group program for numbers to fluctuate. But that ego voice is really real. So you have to get comfortable with holding a powerful space no matter how many people are on the call. Brutal lesson number 5. you will keep attracting beginners until you shift your message. A lot of the time people come to me and they say, I really want to be working with this motivated person over here, but I keep attracting these Debbie Downers over here, and I really want this more motivated person. And this was me too. I used to wonder, why do I keep attracting these early stage people when I want more advanced clients, when the more advanced clients do better in my program because they're in a better position, have the right foundation to grow their group program. But the reality is, although I wanted those people, I hadn't up-leveled my identity to be speaking to those people. I was still subconsciously speaking to beginners because I had a fear of really stepping in and serving the people that were further on because I wondered whether I was good enough, type thing. So if you want higher level clients, you have to actively reposition. You have to change your language. You have to speak to their current problems, not their past ones. And you have to market to where they're going, not where they're started, and not loads of really problem-based messaging, because your best clients, they already know their problem. They're more excited about their destination. And that can feel risky because the fear is, if I speak to this group further on, what if they're not? What if there's not enough of them? And the reality is, you might have to spend some time really speaking to this new ideal client to build up that client base. But if you don't go through that pain to make that shift, you're always going to be attracting those clients that drain you, that are lower down, that aren't quite ready to do the work. Brutal lesson number 6. Client numbers will fluctuate and your brain will make it mean something. So especially with evergreen programs, but also with cohort programs, when a launch doesn't go to plan, you will have months where signups dip. You'll have launches that don't land. And your brain will want to turn every dip into a drama. My program's broken, my business is broken, I need to change niche. Maybe the marketing crash of 2020, whatever is coming, it's not going to work anymore. You don't need to change anything. You might need to make tweaks and optimizations, of course, but fluctuation is normal and business growth isn't linear. And the best thing you can do is zoom out, take the learnings and the lessons, tweak and reiterate, because you don't really learn the lesson until you do it again and again to see the patterns. And one bad month, one failed launch does not give you enough patterns to really analyze what happened. Brutal lesson number 7. If you over-deliver in your group program, if you create a model that doesn't serve your well-being, you will burn out. And when you start a group program, it's quite easy to think, if I add more calls, more resources, more bonuses, people will get more value, they'll be more happy to pay the price. No, more is not better. More often, not only does it burn you out, but it massively overwhelms your clients. So the best thing you can do for your group program is have a ridiculously simple structure. Protect your energy and your clients will get better long-term results. So your job isn't to give them more, it's to hold a steady container for them and protect your capacity so that you can always show up powerfully for your clients. So they are some of my 7 most brutal hard-earned lessons from building group programs over the last 7 years. And if you found this helpful, I'll drop a link to my workshop series below, which takes you through my entire process for how I have built a one-offer business around one group program that makes me 15 to 30K a month. If you found that useful, I'd love to know in the comments what resonated with you.